Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
What we will learn today is system landscape, and we will get to know about 3-tier architecture. What is the configuration for 3-tier architecture? Means how development, how presentation, and how internal services are going to be working for our requesters, which we request from SAP tool. We will cover this one, 3-tier and SAP landscape. As I already told you, that SAP GUI and whatever the front end from where we used to access the system is presentation layer. Here I will show you. This comes into the presentation layer, this comes into the application layer, this one whole, and this is database one. Suppose an end user requested login to the SAP GUI system. What IBAP system is? The system which can be accessible from GUI level. Like yesterday, I showed you how to log in to the system. It was GUI level. Your S4HANA system is from ABAP level, that is GUI level. But when it comes to the Fiori portal or enterprise portal link or process orchards or pure link POPI system, these are accessible through web URL. You cannot log in into the system directly from SAP GUI. You have to log in through portal link. And those systems is known as Java systems. The difference between ABAP and Java is that you can log in through SAP GUI and you can access the system through SAP GUI. And for Java system, you can access from anywhere in your browser link if it's near a VPN network. Fiori is developed in ABAP only. But for accessing Fiori, you need to go through web URL Fiori Launchpad link. And every Java system needs any backend system to be connected. Like even if you go with Fiori link, it is connected to ABAP system. It can be anything like gateway server or S4HANA systems. Right? Just same as enterprise portal link, it should be connected somewhere in the backend system with an ABAP system. Just for connecting those, it doesn't mean that they will store the data in ABAP database. They will have a separate database. But for connection, for backend system, for connecting those, it's in enterprise portal. Java link, which can be accessible through Java system, which can be accessible through portal link. This is the ABAP system. This is the Java system which can be accessible from portal link or browser link. Like any link, you can access it. This is Java system. And for ABP system, you need to log in through CPG. Suppose here, I was showing you the 3-tier architecture. The end users log in to the SAP GUI system through internet or through the network in which that server is installed. Like you work in a Gulf country, you know that there is a lot of security provided by the customer. That they don't want their server to be accessible from anywhere around the world. They will provide a VPN network or something which will require to log in into their network first. And then you can access into the system. And even some customers of Gulf country doesn't allow VPN also. They just want that you come and sit at our IT hub or whatever the office it is. And you can access the system there only. You cannot log in even from home. If you want to work, you can go into the office and work. Those are the network connectivities which are shared by the customer, and it depends on customer to customers. Otherwise, anybody can log into 6P GUI systems and it can access anything. He can change the records, he can change the data, he can generate an invoice. Otherwise, he can manipulate the data according to himself. It can be dangerous. That's why a lot of customers doesn't allow their server to be available publicly to everyone, or it can be easily accessible. It requires a VPN access to access into the system. Or they want that the consultants or the users should work into that plant only, and they cannot access the system by home also. And even on their laptop, only they will work. A lot of security are there. According to that, network connectivity is decided. And users are used to log in through CP, GUI, through VPN or through internet, whatever the possibilities. The first request, once you log into the system, a work process is assigned to you. Suppose a work process is something which I told you yesterday, that it will process all your requests until you log into the system. Once you log into the system, a work process is assigned to you. Suppose you want to change any data, or you want to fetch any data, or you want to see any data, or you want to just update any details. Those are done mostly done by functional and ABP or any MMP, PE or end users. End user people like for inserting any transaction data or anything. For our basis, you can see that whenever you log into the system, you will be assigned a work process which can be checked in SM50 decode. SM50, it will show all the work process available into the system. Suppose while implementation you assigned 50 to 60 work process for the landscape or for the system, and the allocating work processes depends on your memory and securitization. For that, you need to have an architect level of knowledge and study, which will come by experiencing that, by implementation projects and all those things. For SM50, suppose you have 50 work process assigned. I can show you practically just a second. This is the field you can see. Above is the field where you enter those decodes, transaction codes. Those are defined in one decode which is provided as a standard decodes which AP used to provide for accessing the system. Like suppose you need to create any job, you want to monitor any job, that different decodes are available. For basis related decodes, around 40 to 50 decodes are available in which we can check the performance, like what is the issue in the system or whatever the concerns raised by the customer. You can check through that decodes. First of all, we will learn about SM50 decoder. This is the SAP logo. It is presentation layer, what I was talking about, SAP graphical user interface software. You will install it on your local desktop. Once you click on it, double click on it. Just a small software. You can add an entry here which I told you yesterday, that IP address, instance number, CD. You need to mention all this. This was done during installation of a system. You will be having those details. Once you added those entries, an entry will be added here. Description you can give, any description you can give. Look, suppose your company. I will tell you this is a description. Suppose your company is something Dubai based. Dubai based telecom or some companies there, whatever name. You will have an IP address of application server 10.9.2.168.10.2t. You will have an instance number, that is a unique instance number through which you can identify that this is on this instance number SAP services are running. For example, Sandra is there. This is of only 2 digits. SysID is something unique. SID which is given to the system or in a landscape to identify that. For example, for the system, we will give SID as Dave. For quality system, we can give SID as QS. For production, we can give SID as PRD. Depends on our, you can give anything. For example, S4 is for CHANN system. You can give S4D, S4 development, S4Q quality, S4Q for production. Anything you can give. Instance number should be of 2 digits. It cannot be any alphanumeric. This system ID can be alphanumeric plus digit, but it should start with an alphanumeric only. There may be possible S11 if I can provide next. S11 is the new CD is added. Instance number is unique one and SID is also unique one. It's a collection of all the CPU and resources assigned to that instance number and SID, which will be used only for that production system. Suppose you have 1 TB of RAM for application. For that, we separate an instances. You cannot have one application server only in those big environments. It will be overloaded. What central or big bazaar or retail company used to do is, they used to install 20 to 30 instances for production systems. You can install 20 to 30 application systems, but a database will be one only. Suppose, should I clear it? You look at this message server. Above dispatcher, and here message server is also assigned with it. If I can show you next diagram, this one. You see a SAP going first, go to this message server. Message server. The work of message server is to balance. The request is coming into the SAP system. It just use of, that is message server, is the user that it used to distribute request to the application server available. Let me tell you, let me show you one diagram. This is the one. Second, third, fourth and fifth. One, two, three, four, five. Suppose this one server has the capacity of login of only 50 users can log in at the same time, like according to RAM and CPU. This second server has the capacity of 50 users. This server has the capacity of login 50 users. Every server is having suppose same configuration is given to everything, right? Fourth server, and this is the fifth server. Now suppose any person log in into SPGUI system. Any system G, a request is raised. How and how? This request with that request is by end user, that how SAP application will decide at which server should be assigned to that request to handle that request, because 345 applicants we have installed. With one database, you cannot have multiple database, but you can have a multiple application server. As the name suggests, load balancing. Message server. Message server is connected to all these application servers. And it has nothing to do with database level. It will be connected through application server only. Message server has nothing to do with the database. It doesn't matter that what database it is having. It has no knowledge about databases. It has only knowledge about how many instances are there on application server. How many instances are installed for our production system. Suppose any request come from SAP GUI level to log in through SAP GUI. First of all, the request go to the message server. You see this one message server port first one. First request go to the message server. From that message server will check what are the application, what are the dispatchers available. Like every applicant server has this message. Dispatcher server, gateway server, dispatcher queue above bug process. All those requests are already in is already defined for any application server. From that message server, it will check that. First of all, first application server is having 50 work process, second is having 50, third is having 50. Just like if you go into login to the system, I will show you. What message server goes? It goes into the server work process and check. Suppose we have 10 dialog work processes as mentioned in this. As this is a configuration, 6 background work processes are there. 1 pull request, 1 update task and 1 update. Suppose any end users log into the system and you want to do any entries manually. It's a dialog work process. It will check for dialog work process into the system in all the application server. And suppose out of 50, suppose here 40 are utilized, here 30 are utilized, here 25 is utilized, here 10 is utilized, here 6 is utilized. Message server will check on which server the load is less. Suppose on 5th server the load is less, 4 is around, only 5 work processes are occupied. Like you can see here, out of 10, 9 is free. There may be a situation that 10 out of 10 is full and no work process are there. Message server will not pass that request to that application server. It will pass the request to that server which is having more work process, which is less utilized. This is the work of message server to maintain a load balancing into the system, into the SAP landscape. This is running on one application server. You can check how many application servers are installed in your SAP system is by decode /nsym51. You know /n. Wait a minute, I will tell you. If you go /sym50, the decode is directly accessible. If you go with another decode, for example, you can see /smem51. The decode will not be accessible because it has no information on where to go. You have to use whenever you want to switch from one decode to another decode screen. You need to use /n. That is new transaction code. /n means new transaction code. You will enter /sym51. That new transaction, it will open the new session. Look, this is the test system. We have here only one application server installed. As same as a lot of application server can be installed, like 5, 6, 7. You can check here that how many application servers are present in your system right now. If you have the access of SAP GUI of your customer, wherever your S4HANA is implemented, you can go into /sym51 decode and you can check how many application servers are available there. There may be 5, 6, anything. Just like if a company is a retail company, you can see 20 lines here. 20 rows will be visible here with different host name. From that you can check. From that rows where the request should go into the system. That's all. The thing is maintained by message server, that is load balancing. You can see that first server is having more load. Out of 10 dialog boxes, 10 are utilized. You don't have any access for it. The work process will wait in a dispatcher queue. It will wait in a queue that once the work process is freed, that work process will be assigned to that user. Or either the message server will move that request to another server. It will increase the productivity of the system. It will increase the fast because 1000 users are going to log into the system and you have 10 dialog instances. In 10 dialog instances, 50 work process are there as 1000 users are not going to log in directly at the same time, out of which 400, 500 used to log in as a concurrent. You have to maintain, according to that, how many application servers are needed. That it depends on concurrent logging onto the system. Suppose your project is not much big, only 30-40 users are logging in. It can be handled by one application server only. You don't need to install second, third, fourth application server. Look, there are two situations. There can be two situations. Suppose on one application server, just like on one server, for example, you have installed one Windows server. On that, if you are installing any application server, the sorted instance number you have given. When you installed second application server on the same Windows server, you need to give different instance numbers OZ1. And suppose you have a different Windows server. Other than that, you have a different hardware, you have a different Windows server or whatever virtual machine you have created on it. There you can give the same instance number. For example, if suppose 1, 2, 3, 4 all are running on different VMs. You can give here soldered instance number, you can give here soldered, you can give here soldered, you can give here soldered. If you are installing on the same VM, there is no use because it will say, it will give you the error that this is already used by some other application server. Look, there are two kinds of concepts. You can say, first of all, you no need to enter all the application server IP address into the system landscape. I will show you the live example later. There is one decode here which Basis person used to do, that is smul. Smul will show you the instance number which are available. I will show you here Logan groups, how to create Logan groups. This is a public Logan group. Suppose you have created one Logan group here, for example test. And you have given instance number here is S4 and 834. You can create one more test. And you have given second instance number means second application server. You got it? What I want to say. S4 entry 4, you have given 35. Because if you have 5 instance number, all the 5 instances will be visible here. You assign 1, 2, 2. What you will get is, you will get a 2 entry here. And a 34 test for 35 test for 6038 with a Logan group of test. Is now when you go to here, you will add here new connection. Here you will do is you will go to next one. And in connection type you will select as a group and server which you have created here. Suppose you have given the group as Logan group test. You can give test here. ID, whatever you have to give it will be detected here. Or you can give it as a CD. Getting it? Suppose you have installed Dave. Dave, it will be here. No instance number is needed because you have created a group and group knows what is the instance number. You don't have to mention it. This is the side number and message server is on which your message server is installed. This one, the IP address of this message server. Suppose it's any 922.168.30, whatever it is. Say plotter not needed. Group and server selection. This is a description that is Logan. Logan group. And for group server you need to select as a test one. You need to have an entry of the test in your SAP GUI level. Once you add that GUI level, that this will be added as like this. If you go with properties, I will tell you with properties. You will be very visible with it. Look, this is a system ID S4H, instance number 34 S4 HANA, but custom application for Logan group. It's already written S4H. I'm not going to change it. Otherwise, I need to involve vendor for it. This is the S4HS ID and group server is S4H8 only which will be visible. Once you add that, it will be added as like this only. That logo group will be added from here. Whenever the request comes, it depends, it may have server responsibility that where the load is less, the request will be transmitted to that application server. You don't have to worry about that. It will be directed towards you. This is the user message server. This is our message server. There are different applications installed on it. Suppose that from one application server is connected to one database. One application server is connected to second database. Third application is connected to third database. Just imagine that. You enter any data. Suppose you have credited around 1 lakh rupees in your bank account. That application server, suppose one application server has got that entry of 1 lakh rupees, it will have a separate database. It will enter that from message server. After that, suppose a load on first application server is very high. It will transmit it to second one. But second application doesn't have the knowledge of that database, that how much load, how much lakh rupees was created in that database. It will be all inconsistency in your system. Remember that. That's what I was telling yesterday, that why decentralized system was not eligible. Because they have to maintain separate databases. That's why the centralized ERP has came into the picture. You have done any entries in application 1, 2, 3 days after you have done the application. Entries in application 2, and it has a separate database. How you can sync all those data then database to database? You cannot sync that. Either you need to perform 3 to 4 entries, just like if you go through app. Also, you will get the same data. If you go through internet browser also of your banking environment, you will get the same data. Right. While accessing from mobile any HDFC bank or any government bank or any bank, Dutch bank or any bank, you will log into that system. You will get the same data on your mobile also and on your laptop also. Or whenever you go physically into the bank, there also will get the same data. You have a same amount of money maintained everywhere because it's only one database we need to maintain, centralized database. Otherwise, physical bank will have different databases. Mobile will point to different databases. Your internet browser will point to different databases. It's all of inconsistency. Data will be created. Right? That's why we cannot give heaven multiple databases for one application server. These are the requests. Come into this application server and go to DB. But before going into the DB, every application server has dispatcher queue and dispatcher available into their application server. I will tell you like this. Every dispatcher queue and service. I will show you here only. This is dispatcher queue and this is a dispatcher. What will you? Whenever you log into the system, the message server will check the dispatchers. All the dispatchers, like all the application server, will have different dispatchers with them. Dispatcher is a service which used to handle the request of work process queues which come into that application server. Every dispatcher will connect it to all the 50 work process. Here also 50 work process. Here also dispatchers connect to 50 work process. Here also connected to 50 work process. All application server will have different dispatcher which are connected to their particular application work processes. Whenever a request comes from a server, it will be transmitted to the dispatcher queue. And dispatcher is connected to the above work process. Here you can see and can check whatever the work process available. It will assign that work process to that user, and that user will start working on that system and fetch the data or insert data depends on it. Its dispatcher is available in all the application server and which are connected to the work processes. Every request come into the dispatcher queue. If all the 50 work process are utilized, it will wait in a dispatcher queue. It will not happen. Mostly it doesn't happen because that's what the implementation project is all about. 50 work processes will not be occupied simultaneously at the same time. The dispatcher queue will handle all the requests. It will make as a first in first come, first serve service dispatcher queue. The request which come first in a dispatcher queue, it will wait until the work process is freed. And once it is informed at the work process will be assigned to that user. Dispatcher will be there in the server. You can see here, you can see this arrow one. You can see this arrow coming through, ICMan. What is IC? Internet Communication Manager. Even if you log in into that browser, it will be direct to the message server. And that message server will distribute that services to the available application servers. That's why it log in through ICM Internet Communication Manager. And if you have a desktop, you can log in through SAP. These are the things which is used to happen. Work process will have its own occupy memory around MBS or something. Suppose you have 32 GB of box available, vMon available on which application is installed. SAP application is installed. In that only out of 32, 7% of memory is utilized by SAP application server. Suppose you have 100 GB of application server, 70 GB will be the maximum utilized by the application server of a SAP. It doesn't mean that it will occupy all the 70 GB at once, but it can occupy till 70 GB. After that, system will be slow and system will be down. Because rest of the 30% it will leave for the operating system to work. Otherwise, if your operating system will also get hang, you will not be able to do anything. Right. For working as that, even when a VM should work properly, for that memory should be available with the VM. Suppose 100 GB is there, around 20 to 30 GB should be available with OS level that it can access its own. You can at least log into the OS level and check why SAP server is not running in case of any emergency. But SAP service will not occupy more than 70% of your physical memory or a memory assigned to your virtual machine. Sent more than 70%. In that 70%, 70 GB work process used to have its own memory, small memory in which they store the data of your runtime data. Suppose a user log into the system, it doesn't directly feed into the database. It will first store somewhere temporary in your log database. You see logging before you can say, even if you do any changes in your app, it will. Once you enter space, it will have a data. Like it was, mobile number was entered before mail was entered, before it was in your buffer area. After that, once you confirm everything, it will be stored in your database. Otherwise, it will be washed out from buffer area. Are you getting what I want to say? Every work process had its own small memory in which they used to store the data of the user's content. It can be anything like ABAP interpreter or screen personas. Its own depends on development team. We don't have to think about it much more, but just we have to be know of, we should be know those facts and what are the memories assigned to that work processes. It can execute your request because every work process cannot have 70 GB. Those 70 GB is distributed among all those work processes. Suppose 70 GB is distributed divided by 50, every work process will have the capacity around 1 GB of data to process that. GB of mobile to perform the data. This will be the shared memory. Let's say I want to go. This was a 3-tier account. Now we will learn about system landscape. How many in landscape? How many systems should be there? I will do with the new blank. This is a dev system, quality system, and production system. Even in the client on which you are working, they will be having a landscape of having 3 system landscape, dev, quality, and production. And even some people used to have 4 to 5 landscape also, in which they used to give pre-prod and kind of sandbox system on which they can do a testing. There may be possibility that they can have a test system or pre-prod system. Test or pre-prod are kind of prod, in which it will have, before going any changes into the PID, it should be thoroughly checked. Suppose nowadays mostly the dev, quality, and production systems are available for the landscape. In our landscape, that is we know as 3-tier landscape system, in which it will include dev, quality, and production, or the developers or any functionality more. What are the requirements? Is first created in development system. It is checked there, it is developed there, and quality is kind of copy of production. PRD are used for testing. Once the change has been supposed, you are using all the banking apps, and a lot of apps are available in nowadays. Before 5 years or 6 years, the app was not that much user-friendly. When the banking apps were launched, there may be some. Always changes need to be done. Nowadays, you can see chat boxes available there. You can see a smiley are available there for feedback form, or you can see a lot of other options available like creating FTS and all those things. But while developing in the initial phase of those banking environments or anything you needed to have, You don't have that much knowledge about that. It can be good or not. Those are the changes which are done continuously on your development system. Just same as in SAP system, also according to customers need any ZT codes or any transaction or any work. You can see any. Customization need to be done because all the data which come while installation implementation is of standard code. That is standard data which was given by the SAP product team. Now suppose any customer need to add some new field or need to add any row. This will be done by the functional team. This is a requirement raised by the functional team. Functional team will get the requirement for customer. We will add this entry. We will add this deck and it will ask developer team to develop accordingly. Once the developer team started working on it, it will record the changes. All the coding they have done manually into the system. They will record somewhere in your change request. This is known as change request. Anything you record will be stored somewhere in that change request, in your task list or somewhere. You don't have to do that manually. Suppose any developer has done 1,000 lines of coding. And it was approved by the client, or you can say they have to move this to quality. Developer will not log into quality system and do 1,000 line coding again. It need to be done through change request. Any changes need to be done. That change request, we will just import that transport request. It will be created as code line, created MB or 2MB of file. We will import that file created in nav system and import it into quality. All the 1,000 lines will be copied directly into the quality system. Here some business user or some key users will log into the system and check all the environment which can be possible in production environment. And it will check thoroughly that if suppose this is done and not. And suppose if they face any issues, they will revert back to the nav system like this is not working fine. They will start working on that request or any defect or any errors detected in quality system. Once it is thoroughly approved in quality system, it will be moved to the production system after the customer, or you can say after the client's approval. Once client approves it, the quality system will import that change request into PRD. Suppose you can see in banking environment, there was a requirement 2 to 3 years before that. We need a chat box because a lot of customers are calling into the helpline and they were asking that what need to be done. Those are the general queries for any automation or for something. Any changes are done in your app need to be done. They have requested that request to development team. Development team has done all the coding that whenever any request come, which is no more nowadays, which can be handled or solution can be provided theoretically on that chat window. It can be provided. They have just developed that kind of things and they then move to quality. In quality, they have tested like I entered this query. This query is not available with your developed environment. They will send this request to development team. Development team will include that request also. Such kind of things included and test in quality, and last in that it will be imported in production. But while those changes are done in development quality, end users doesn't know what is happening here. End users is independent of all those requests. Once it is imported in PRD and it went to go live, that users start experiencing. This is a chat box. We don't have to call. We don't have to get any burden. Or you can say you don't have to get into the environment with the customers. Call that. I need a customer care call. There you need to enter all those. This is available in your chat box. We just entered it, select that option and you can get all the details. This is kind of the changes which are requested by the customer or client. According to that, development team is to create it, move it to quality test, and then move it to production. This is the 3 landscape. Before 3 landscape around 10 years or 15 years before, still some customer used to have a 2 system landscape. In that, quality system will be removed. Will be removed from the picture and directly their request will be moved to production. Some customers where budget is the main problem, like they cannot handle 3 hardware systems, like if it costs more for managing those 3 hardware systems. Many customers used to have a day when production on that development should be done here and it should be moved to PRD. Directly without any testing. Here only development team will test everything and they will move it to PRD. This was the 2 landscape diagram, 2 landscape systems. And this is the 3 landscape system once the quality system is involved. Even there are situations like customer doesn't satisfy with the quality one, they will include pre-prod also between that. That request need to move to quality, then pre-prod and pre-prod. Some key business users will also log into the pre-prod systems and they will check if this is working fine or not. And if they approve it, we can move it to PRD. These are the kind of system landscape, and even some customers have only one system into the system, like into landscape. There may be possible that dev, quality and production, everything is on the same system. But it is highly riskable to have such kind of environment. It will definitely save the cost of the 2 hardware. But it can be possible that any coding changes can impact on your current business running systems. It's better that we should always have a 3 system landscape in our project. Same system means like not development, quality production will be on the same server, like one server, one instance number, one ID. And on that only, development team is also logging, quality system is also logging, and users are also logging. It is very dangerous. Suppose any development team has done the changes which will have an impact on your current production system. It should. Development system should be always different. Quality for testing only, which should always be have a data latest production. Like you should always take a backup of production and restore it on quality in every 2 to 3 months. To have real-time data what production is having. Because on production, 1000 users, 2000 users used to log in every day. They used to insert data. They used to insert all those things. On all those testing, on those data, you need to have a proper production like environment, which we can consider quality. What we used to do is generally as a basis person, as a basis expert, we should always recommend customer that you should restore your production database onto your quality system to get data, because there may be a possibility that it doesn't mean that once. You suppose you have implemented the system in 2010. They have quality production and you are doing the testing, but a lot of data is growing in production environment, right? Because in development system, no one logins except developers 50 to 60 developers. No one logins more than tester and developers, right? But in production environment, 1000 to 2000 users used to log in every day. But the growth of databases also grows highly. After, suppose any new data is coming, any new format is coming according to the latest one. And suppose anything we need to do, we will do. What quality is having the old data? it will not be able to perform that much testing as compared to production. It's our recommendation that every 3 to 4 months or 6 months at least, production data should be copied to quality and restore quality on it. That testing team can perform thoroughly on their quality system with the help of production data. It will have real-time data. That's why it is recommended to have it. Every development, since development system will also have its own message server dispatcher work process different. Quality system will have its own application server, own message server, their own database, their own work processes. Same as production will have their own message server, own dispatcher, own work processes and own databases. This is the S50. We will have a work process here available. In SMF1, we can see all the application servers here. Now I will tell you some naming conventions. If someone says CD means system, it will be unique. It will be unique on server. It can be anything. Dev QSPRD, you can say SSH. For the naming configuration installation, you need to have some unique SID need to be given. Suppose how you can install the SAP application and databases on the same, because how database will know that this is the application through which I want to connect. How application will know this is a database where I want to connect. How end users will know that I need to log into that system. There may be situations like on one VM, you can have a multiple like, suppose a lot of customers. What used to do is to save the hardware cost. What they used to do is they used to create one virtual machines. On that, they used to install dev system also and quality system also application server. What they will do is on dev system, how we can detect it. It's a file structure of dev system. It's a file structure of quality system. There should be some uniqueness. SAP has a different file structures available. Like, I will tell you something. File system. In this different SSDs, the instance number will be same, or that also we need to provide different instance number. And if you try to give the same number also, the SAP will say you cannot give because this was already assigned to dev system. Because according to that instance number, now the ports are created into the system. What you used to do is SAP have a different port numbers. I will compare. The SAP GUI port, right? This is the SAP GUI port. It should be TX. Now, 6 is instance number of the system. This is the 3T200 is the GUI port through which end user used to log in. We don't have to give it manually. It is already defined as 32 instance number is the GUI port. Whenever you enter this instance number here, look this one instance number. The GUI port, the instance number, the GUI port will be 3T200 instance number. This is 3. If you go with this one, I don't know if it will work or not. I don't have the IP address. I don't have that IP address. I can show you on any customer side if possible. Is the GUI port. I will tell you through. If you connect to a SAP system through GUI port, it will be 3D200. If you connect to SAP system through HTTP means through internet browser, it will be 80 instance number or any 5 instance numbers also there. It's for Java. And ATAS is for Fiori system. HTTP. If you connect through HTTP server means through internet browser. Suppose instance number is 01. The port will be 320. And this is the GUI port which we need to grant. Internally message server. Messages server port is on a 1 VM. You can install 99 instance number. You cannot install more than that. It cannot be 1 only or 2 only. 2, 3. Message server port is used to interact with application server as 36 instance number. Here, instance number is of what happened when we try to install? When we install a system, the 2 instances are created by default. The first one is of message server. And the second instance is application server. That is patcher server. Did you get that? Continue. Message server port number comes into the situation when there are more than 6 to 7 instances number are there. When you are having load balancing, then only we will give the message server port number into SAP GUI. Otherwise, on directly, we will give IP address application server instance number assigned to that application server. And if we log into that SAP GUI directly, message server port number is defined when we create a logon group, just like we have done in a logon group test system. At that time, only message server port will be usable because I will show you. This message server port suppose is SODIC. Suppose message server port is 20. Right. Now, when SAP GUI will enter into the SAP landscape, he don't know that, but instances number are assigned to application servers. Loader 1 or 2. 8 application servers are there. If he knows also where to log on, how he can decide? Right. At that time, this is a 20 instance number which is given. It can be given any instance number. This is a 2-digit instance number which is for message server. When you log into the SAP GUI, the message server 20 will be given, just like here. We have given that in logon group test logon group, that message server port, whatever message server instance will be there. From there, he will redirect it to different application servers instance. And suppose he don't want to go through message server directly. The end users log in directly into the application server also, giving the IP address of third application server and soldered instance number and log in directly. If he knows everything, if he knows that what load, this is a basis console. We are a basis console and we can log in any system anytime. It can be installed in a separate server. But if you install on it, like if you have a development system, for example, if you have a development system, message server and application server will be installed on the same host. But suppose there are situations where 9 application servers are available. Right? 9 application servers are available on different hosts. Message server, you need to install on separate server. Because if you install message server in any one of this and support that OS get crashed, how this 8.6 application will work? Because message server is lost with that application server, right? Message server is installed. When we have 6 to 7 application servers, a lot of data is there. Message server should be installed separately. It can connect with other hosts separately. Suppose any one host, suppose this host get crashed suddenly. Suddenly this host get crashed. At least message server will not. This connection will not be available with message server. Message server will redirect those requests to this only. But suppose message server is also here with application 1 server and this also get crashed. Then how request will be handled with this and how end users will log into the system? End user will not be able to log into the system without message server. For development, there is one message server. For quality, there is one message server. For production, there is one message server. Message server is installed by default in every system, their quality production. But the main use of message server comes into the picture when there is a lot of 7 to 8 application servers, mainly in production. By default, message server and application server will be installed by default. But the use of that message server will come only when it is a use of load balance. You can check message server is installed separately or not. Mostly message server installed in a very big client where you have a cluster configuration and all those things. But for main of the thing, there is one application server, installed message server on it with primary application server. You can say on the server, suppose this is the first server. If we install message server also with that server, it will be a primary application server. That it is the first primary application server. And rest will be known as a dialog server. Those are the terms. Additional application server will be considered as a dialog server. Don't get confused with dialog server and dialog work processes. Dialog work process is different and dialog servers are different. This is a naming convention. You can say additional app also. Don't use dialog word. You can use additional apps and naming convention. Little bit. I have told you like what is SED. What is instance number? Software GIF. How to download it? I showed you yesterday. Suppose you have 250 users. It depends on how many users log in at the same time. Concrete users. Suppose you log into the work process. Work process will not be assigned you to you only. The work process will work only when you start doing some work in it. Either you are executing any T codes or even executing any. You can say DB, insert or something. What you cannot say, 250 users are there. 2 to 50 work process are required. Actually, it will come with. A lot of teams are involved in that. Basis, people cannot directly jump into that and say, these are users. Let's give this. There is no standard rule for that. There is no standard rule for that. What you have to do is, we have to sit. You have to coordinate with the functional team. You have to coordinate with the sales team. How many line items and all those terms are used? Because we are technical person. We don't go into that much. According to that, if we get information like 60 users are going to log in at the same time, what I will do? I will check in hardware. 32 GB is enough. 32 GB application RAM is enough to handle 60 users. Even 8 users can. It can also handle 32 GB. It's a standard thumb rule diagram. 32 GB can be assigned to 60 to 70 work processes. Application server RAM, but it depends on issues which are generated. It doesn't mean that there is a syntax error. What Basis team can do? Basis team cannot do anything in syntax error. The ABAP team used to come and resolve that syntax error because Basis team is not here to write codes. Write coding or something. Basis team is here to have a performance issue. Or you can say health checkup is properly running or not. Like checking work processes are occupied or not. Daily 2 to 3 times of check. And if any user is facing slowness, if any work process is getting full or any system is down, how to make the system up? Any issues has come, any mount point has got full. Like any drives are getting full, right? In Windows Server, suppose CDE drive is getting full. Your database or your application will get down at that time. You need to maintain that also. Our Basis console rule is to make system running with proper response time without any slowness. Or to maintain the system properly, that end users should not face any slowness or any logout or any kind of issues. But there may be situations that suppose any user was not able to see any documents and we checked the system with him by sharing the screen sharing or whatever. And we came to know that this doesn't seem to be our issue. Like this seems to be code issue, ST2 syncs error. Or you can say any error which is related to functionality. Like memory related error, timeout error. Those are the errors which can be handled by Basis team. Like any timeout is occurring. Like if any user is accessing the system and time limit has reached. It will log out the system. It will throw you out of the SAP journey. You have to log in again. You can increase the time limit of that end users. These are Basis tasks. But it depends on situations. What are those tasks? If this comes into Basis or not. Suppose there may be situation that your mount point is getting full. Why it is getting full? If it is related to database related activities like logs are getting full, you can delete those logs or you can take a backup and all those things. But anything which is like IO error Or you can say any mount point is not visible right now. You can ask our team to look into that. Suppose your system is up and running, but you are not able to access the system. It is a network issue. Internet is not available. You are not able to access the system. Those are the situations where we get limited. Like, this is not our side. This is the basis side. This is the network issue. This is the functional issue. This is the developer issue. This is the OS level issue. But this is not the basis issue. We can say directly to that. You cannot go directly that this is the issue. Because a lot of issues, basis is a very vast module. You cannot say that these are the particular list of issues. For that only basis will work. Other than that, it can be any issue. I will give the information about directory file structure, where the logs are stored. Suppose you are not able to access the system through SAP GUI. Your application is down. How you are going to make it up? Application is down. It doesn't mean that your OS is down. Your application SAP services are down. If your Java is on your laptop, if your Java software is down, you are not going to restart your application. Restart your laptop. You are going to start Java service again. This is the same kind of, if SAP software is down, you need to start SAP services first. It's not always like, this is not visible. It means OS is not available. You need to go and check the logs on file on directory structure, file level structure. For that I will tell you in next session. Where are those files are stored? Where are those logs are stored? Suppose you are not able to log into the SAP GUI. You can check into that OS level logs. Where to check those logs? What are the work process? Even the work process, those 50 work process used to write logs somewhere. They are not going to write logs in your SAP GUI. They are used to write logs in your database level or in your file structure level. We just log into that OS level and we will check where those logs are written. We have a path for that. User SAP's ID says I can write you. These are the file structure. I will tell you. File structure for SAP app. /use/share/sap/sedi. SEDI can be anything. With then /usr/sip/sidi/. It will include your dialog instance D100. And it will also include CD/your ACS instance. ACS means message server. Then USR SAP SEDI 100/work directory is there in which you will get all the work process logs. Work process logs, dispatcher logs, same with USR SAP logs of message server. There may be switches that message server is down. This is the USR. This is the mount point on Linux server. Like we have a root mount point in that all these folders are created. But for Windows it is something different. Like if you go into D drive application install in D drive, for example, there you will find USR folder. In that you will install SAP folder. In that you will install the same structure as SAD and all the above which I mentioned. This is the, if you have a time, you just go through this file structure of SAP application, you will become to know what I want to say. It will be same across everywhere. No changes. Either it is a Fury, either it is a Java. This is the same file structure. Same folder will be created. There is nothing different. For upgrade migration, every 6 months or 1 year we need to upgrade it or migrate it. Any new databases come from Oracle to NNA, we need to migrate it from on-premise server to cloud server. Nowadays, you have heard about cloud servers, right? AWS, Google Cloud and Microsoft Cloud. We are moving from here to there. It is a migration project. Nowadays, all are using that only. No one is ready to have a hardware costing on their on-premise server. Everyone is moving to cloud thing because they don't have to think about it. No need to have infrastructure maintenance. Everyone is moving to cloud. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.